Studio Light is an ingenious new tool coming to Luminar NEO that actually lets us relight our model in post-production after we've taken the photo. Since my last video where I shared the beta version of this tool along with the other generative AI technologies that are coming out for Luminar NEO, 𝗨𝘀 have already updated the interface and functionality of this tool. So in this video, let's take a look at what's new. I've got a couple of shots of my daughter here and a couple of some friends here as well, and I was just messing around with lighting, and funnily enough my goal for this lighting setup was literally to make the lighting as flat as possible. And the reason you might want to do that with your lighting is particularly if you're photographing people who aren't 20 anymore. We all have lines on our skin, and just by having a flatter lighting, obviously that minimizes those lines. However, the problem with a very flatly lit portrait is our two-dimensional photo lacks any real dimensionality. And so in the portrait tab, Studio Light has now been moved to there. That's going to be the correct place for it. And you can see, if you saw the last video, this looks very different to what we saw previously. And now before we go any further with this, I'm going to set a challenge for you that I'm going to give you the solution to at the end of the video. But as you can see in this photograph here, the background isn't completely uniform. I shot this against a sheet and you can see some of those ripples in the sheet. And let's suppose we want a completely pure, clean background, doesn't matter whether it's grey or a colour, and we want to replace that behind these subjects. How can we do that without adding a new layer? So it's all going to be on one layer. How can we do that? I'll show you at the end, but have a think about it. But for now, let's carry on looking at Studio Light. You can see that we have a point on our photograph here which we can move around. This represents the light source. Currently we don't see anything. We need to crank the amount up, and as I do that you can see that we get a very strong hotspot overexposure on their foreheads here. As I grab this point and move it around, you can see how the very strong overly exposed light is interacting with our subjects. And if I grab the smooth slider and actually bring that down, you can see that we start to get much tighter distribution of the little light pockets across the surface of their face. And so by doing that, we can much better see how this tool is actually interacting with our subjects. Obviously this is way too much and these are not the settings that we would want to actually work with, but I just wanted to show you how this tool actually works. We also have a depth slider which allows us to actually push that light further back in three-dimensional space or bring it further forward if we want to. If I just bring the amount back down slightly and we start playing with the hue slider, we can actually change the color. But again, currently we're not seeing any alteration to the white light that we see on their faces because the saturation, the strength of the color, is set to 0. So if we grab that and actually crank that all the way to 100, we can see what's going on. And now as I move this hue through, we can actually see how the different lighting color is affecting the photo. We also have a light contrast slider, which allows us to create a more intense, strongly lit and darker portrait. And we have a brightness slider that actually affects the whole of the photo. So not just the portrait itself, like the amount slider that affects only the light, the brightness slider itself affects the whole of the photo. So if you've already got your exposure set where you want it, you don't need to worry about changing this brightness slider. Now currently this looks awful, and that is because I dropped that smoothness slider all the way down to 0. What we want to do is work on finding a sweet spot, and if we just reset that to 50, and for this photo I don't want to introduce any color, so I'm just going to drop that saturation back down so we're looking at a white light. And now I'm going to move this around here so that we get a bit of a side light, a bit of dimensionality on our subjects. Currently this is far too strong, but I always recommend work stronger, particularly when you get into know a tool, and that is going to allow you to actually really see and understand the effects that are being applied to the photograph. And then once you've got your head around how all those variables play into the tool itself, then you can actually start to customize and tweak it with a little bit more refinement. I'm currently torn between getting this photograph looking good and also demonstrating the tool. So I'm going to kind of play between those two ideas. So at the moment, I'm just demonstrating the tool. So what I'm going to do is actually introduce a secondary light source that we can bring in. So just to differentiate the two, I'm just going to introduce two very different colors so that we can get a sense of those. So now I have a secondary point which I could bring over here, so that could be a purple light on this side or a pink light, and then we could bring this green light over here. We're not really seeing anything going on with that green light. Why? Well, that amount is set at 0, so let's crank that up. So now you can see that we have two very different lighting effects with green and pink. Again, it doesn't look right yet because we haven't really refined this. we might want to soften that, and if we're working with brightly coloured lights like we are here, usually they show up on a darker exposure, so you might want to bring the exposure down, perhaps play with the depth. What if we wanted to add another light source? Let's do a hair light up the top. We could absolutely do that. So again, let's crank the saturation up. This time let's make it blue, bring the amount up, and now we could bring this up to the top of our models up here, bring the depth back. And I am really making a dog's dinner of this, but let's have a look at our before and after. These were actually friends of mine, and I checked beforehand that it was okay to use this photo in the video, and he sometimes watches these videos, so he may not be my friend after this, after he sees what I've done here. The point is, this is a very powerful tool, and just like any tool that is very strong with its effect, you need to just sprinkle it in like a chef seasoning a dish. You know, you don't want to go over the top, you just want to do it with refinement, which is absolutely what we have not done here. And while we're in that mode of things not looking particularly great, let me just show you one other feature that we can do with this lighting before we actually try and make it look a little bit better and actually utilize the tool as it should be. Okay, well, let's pretend that this looks good. If we close it down, what we can do is open another application of Studio Light if we wanted to add another lighting effect. And there's a really cool thing we can do. I'm just going to bring the amount up about midway just so we can see what's going on. And you see this light customization tab? If I turn that on, we now have access to texture and pattern. We have strips, we have dots, or we have none like before. So in this case, let's work with strips. We can also add a texture to those strips. And so we can steal things like glass, rays, crazy firework effects, if that's what you wanted to do. And we can also change the scale of that effect as well. From here, we can now move the position of that texture, as well as grab this and actually move the position of the supposed light that is projecting that texture onto our subjects. So rather than work with fireworks, I'm just going to work with none and just stick with the basic strip pattern. And you can see that we can change the position of those stripes. And as we move this point up and down, we can also change the rotation as well. So if we make the rotation match them and bring that down, we now have a whole new lighting effect. So if I close that down and press the / key on the keyboard, we can see our original, and then we can see this nasty lighting effect I have created. That's an overview of the tool itself. Let's send that back to its original state, and let's actually do something a little better. Before adding Studio Light, I would normally be coming into the essentials and doing a little work on Develop Raw, working with a camera matching profile to get my colors more accurate. And from there, I'd be jumping into Studio Light. So let's do that. We're going to grab the amount slider and start pushing that up. This time, I'm not going to be as excessive as that. We're just going to work somewhere around, I don't know, 27. That's a good starting point. It is overexposed still, but I can see what's going on. Now, I'm thinking a little side light for this. That looks pretty good on our guy here, but it's a little bit overexposed on her. So what I'm going to do is actually use the masking feature. So just like any tool inside Luminar NEO, we have the ability to mask this in. So let's say we were even more aggressive with this, so it's brightening things up even more. That's going to then give us the opportunity to come into masking, grab our brush, and we can just start to erase the effect where we feel like it's just too strong, leaving it alone where we like it. So I'm just going to work with, say, 50% for now, and I'm just going to remove it off of our female subject there, and maybe do another pass over her face again. It's a little bright on his chin. Yeah, perhaps it's still just a little bit too bright on his face there. I'm just going to remove it a little bit more and toggle our before and after, before and after. It's far too much on the shirts. I don't really want to be brightening them up too much. It's more about bringing in a little bit of contouring to the face. If we take the smoothness to the right, we're just going to soften it off even more. And if I toggle our before and our after, you can see that it's pretty subtle, but it's just giving a little bit more dimensionality with that side light that we've created. From there, we could close that down. We could go for a second pass if we wanted to, and we could add the amount in, and this time bring the smoothness down so it's a tighter lighting pattern. But again, we could try to bring it over here to match the lighting that we've already created, and really just bring that amount down to keep it nice and subtle. Even 5 might be too much in this case. Another way to control the intensity of the effect is to grab the depth slider and bring that down as well. So if I push the depth all the way to 100, that's effectively bringing the light forward, and as a consequence giving our photos a more overexposed look. So by bringing this slider down into the negative territory, it's just bringing that exposure level back down. So here's our before, here's our after with that second pass of the tool. So if I close that now and we look at our original before and after, we can see the effect of that light being introduced. And now obviously we can open up any of Luminar's other portrait features. So we could work on the eyes if we wanted to. We could add some flare into those. That'll be easier to see now I've zoomed in, but if you look at the bottom of the eye, we're able to add in a bit of a bounce light if we want to. We can whiten the eyes if we want to, but any of those sliders, I'd recommend using them with caution because things can look pretty weird pretty quickly. So let's just tickle a little bit of that in. The eye enhancer is great because the tool is clever enough to see exactly where those eyes are and then add clarity to the pupils and retina around there. But to be honest, you don't want to push that too high either because things look pretty weird pretty quickly. So use these tools with care. We'll just tickle a little bit of that in. We can also push a little bit of light in underneath the eyes and darken up any bags that happen to be going on under the eyes. And let's say we just want to add a little bit of definition to the lips. You can grab the lip darkening, push that up. Let's give them a bit more redness in their lips as well. And if you wanted to whiten up the teeth, you can obviously do that as well. It's so easy to get carried away here, but let's just do some work with the Skin AI tool. And if we crank that up, obviously it softens the skin off just like before with the masking feature. So if we wanted to, we could come in and say we just want to paint that in over our female subject here. You know, give her some of that. And we can put some on him as well, just a little bit. I'm being really rough and ready here, guys, just so you guys can see exactly how you apply these tools, how they can benefit you. But look, I would recommend you use this stuff with caution. You've always got those masks to just tame it back if you go over the top as well. This is literally the second time I've played around with this new tool, and I'm not super happy with the results I've achieved here, but hopefully you get a good feel for what is possible. And with a little bit more experimentation with all of those sliders, I'm sure I'm going to find the sweet spots for those different settings and be much happier with how to apply this technique. Now, one thing that's bugging me here are the folds in the fabric behind them. We need a nice, pure, consistent background. So let me show you how we can go about fixing that without introducing a new layer. Okay, we're going to come back to the tool section and I'm going to open up a develop tool here and I'm going to jump into curves. Now, as you guys know, curves are great for introducing contrast, but they're also great for removing contrast. And at the end of the day, what is a flat background other than something that is lacking any contrast? So watch this. I'm going to bring my black point up here and we can still just about see our photo in the background, but as I bring our white point down, as my curve line becomes closer to horizontal, you'll see that we have created a completely neutral grey. We could also inject colour into that grey if we wanted to, so we can work with the channels to create different colours in our background. I'm just going to double click these just to reset them. And I think this grey is darker than the background that we had, but that's okay for now. I'm just going to come into masking, mask AI, and get the mask to select the humans. And what we actually want is everything apart from the humans. So you can see that we've introduced the grey here. So before I switch this mask around and invert it, what I'm going to do is come back to the adjustments, and that's going to allow me to better match the background that existed in our original photo with the new neutral background I'm going to introduce. Something like that's pretty close, and now I can just come back into the masking section and the mask actions, and now I'm just going to invert that mask. And there you go. We've got rid of that wibbly wobbly background, and now all we see is our couple on a perfectly neutral background. Before and after, before and after. You're able to see that we've added just a little bit of dimensionality to the portrait, a little softening, and we've also cleaned up that background as well. So I really hope you guys enjoyed that little tip. If you would like to see my actual process for editing a real portrait in Luminar NEO, just write portrait in the description below. And if you don't have this tool yet, don't worry, it's going to be dropped on August the 31st to everybody who owns Luminar NEO. If you don't have NEO yet, I've got a link in the description below. There is currently an early bird promotion, and in addition to that, you can also use my discount code as well. So help yourself to that to save a little bit more as well. Guys, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. This one that's popped up here might be of interest to you, and if you haven't subscribed already, click that button there, click the big AT, and subscribe for more free tutorials on photo editing. I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.